Hey everyone, Donald here from Otaku Podcast. In my very brief and very infrequent moments of spare time, far too few I'm afraid, I've been working on the next version of the Otaku Podcast app, so I thought I'd show you my progress. The first thing you'll notice is, you probably see a new tab there, but you also probably see the More tabs there in the corner. That's because with all the new features I've added, we now have more than 5 screens in the app, so they had to be put on separate tabs. If I tap on the More tab here, you can see the new tabs, and if you tap the Edit button up here, you can rearrange tabs, so you can put your favorite functions down in the main row. And when you exit the app, this information gets saved. So the next time you run, you'll have your favorite layout. So first, let's take a look at the new radio tab. The radio tab, as the name implies, lets you listen to Otaku no Radio, our streaming radio station. So we tap the play button here.
You are listening to Otaku no Radio, radio for anime lovers, brought to you by Otaku no Podcast, the podcast for anime lovers. Check us out on the internet at otakunopodcast.com or search for us on iTunes.
And as you can hear, you can now listen to the Otaku no Radio stream. Now, when a song comes up that happens to be in the iTunes store, it'll display a little album art graphic and let you buy the song on iTunes. Unfortunately, the reality of the situation is that although the US iTunes store has been getting a lot more anime and J-pop catalog, unfortunately, it still pales in comparison to what the Japanese iTunes store has. Of course, you can only order from the Japanese iTunes store if you have a Japanese credit card, unless you get a Japanese prepaid iTunes card, which our good friends at JList happens to sell. Anyways, if we go here into the back into the More tab and go to Contact Us, you'll see at the top right there's a little button. Now you can look at the About this app screen, but you can also bring up the Settings panel, and one of the settings lets you specify which iTunes store to search. Now there's a few more new settings here, which we'll talk about later. So that's the radio tab. Oh, one more thing. If you tap the album art, it'll open up the web page to the Otaku no Radio website. Maybe you didn't know that we have a website. It's kind of a crappy looking one, but it works. But among other things, you can request a song. Now let's move on to the next tab, the Confinder tab. You've probably seen our convention calendar. That's the calendar where we list the various anime conventions that are going on. We now have a cool new way to visualize conventions and find one that's near you. Of course, to find a convention near you, the app does need to use your location. And as you can see, we have this lovely map view here with a search box. So let's search. Here we can search by radius and within a date range. So let's say cons within 5,000 miles between now and next year. That should pull up a lot of them. Well, not a lot, because I have barely managed to populate the database. I'm still adding anime conventions. So let's hit done. And there we have it. You can see our location is the little blue dot there, and the various red pins are conventions. Let's take a look at this one. Here's Anime Central. You'll see it shows the dates and how many miles it is from you, as well as a neat logo. Now if we tap into it, another thing that our new app lets you do is add a convention to your calendar. That way you won't forget that your favorite convention is coming up. Obviously, to do that, we'd need access to your calendar, so we'll grant that. Here we can get some information about the convention. We can tap in and get more of a description here. Tapping on the URL jumps us to the convention's website. and tapping on the address here opens up the iPhone's Maps application to that address. But more to the point, down here under dates, we can see it's already in my calendar. So the button says remove from calendar, so I'm going to remove it from the calendar. If the convention that you're looking at weren't in your calendar, you'll get this lovely add button, so you can tap it, and it brings up an info sheet, and you can fill out various things and add it, just like that. Pretty cool. We can sort of scroll around, zoom in, and take a look at other conventions. There's Anime Vegas. Get info on that. Add that to our calendar if we like. And zooming in here. Here's FanimeCon. And coming up pretty soon now, I think in about 2 weeks or so, is Anime 5 Cities. So that's pretty cool. Finally, let's take a look at the Photos tab. As the name implies, the Photo tab lets you look at all the photos that we've posted to Flickr. You can, in this first view, the photo stream view basically shows all of our recent uploaded pictures. You can scroll through and look at them if you want. See, here's Hatsune Miku. Tap into that one, and you can look at that. Zoom in, pinch and zoom, etc. And if you want to see our a more ordered collection of our photos, you can tap on the Photo Sets button, and that will show you all of our various photos grouped by event usually. So we have FanimeCon, Anime Los Angeles. Some unboxing pictures from the K-On! Mio figure, and so on. Take a look at Anime Los Angeles here. And same as before, you can scroll through and look at the pictures. There's Tadao-san. Now, you'll notice the little sharing button in the upper right. If we tap onto that, that'll let you share these pictures. So you can email to a friend, or we can look at more sharing options. And you're probably familiar with, we can post to Twitter, but now we can also post to Facebook. So we can post to Facebook. It'll come up, and you can type in a description. You can type in a description and hit post. Facebook sharing is enabled in all parts of the app. So, for example, if we go back to podcasts and look at a particular podcast, we can share that episode on Facebook as well. So, interesting. So, there you have the Photos tab. Now let's go back to that settings page I talked about earlier. We tap into the More tab, go into Contact Us. Of course, this is various ways you can talk to us. But in the upper right, we have this button that brings up an options menu. Let's look at settings. You've probably seen the ChibiCast option before. We talked about the iTunes Store search. These buttons lets you log out of your Twitter account and your Facebook account. This only applies if you're running iOS 4. If you're running iOS 5 or above, the actual OS manages your Twitter logins. Finally, the last option, launch URLs in Chrome. This only applies if you have the free Google Chrome browser installed. It'll just let you launch, as the name implies, launch URLs in Chrome. So, say we're looking at a podcast episode. We can go up to the the options menu and open in web browser, and see here, instead of opening Safari, it opens the URL in Google Chrome. So that's about it for the new and improved Otaku no Podcast app. I'm still sort of ironing out some last-minute bugs. And I'm probably going to wait until after iOS 6 is released later this fall and release it around then. So look forward to that. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you're looking forward to the new Otaku no Podcast app. This is Donald from Otaku no Podcast saying sayonara, jane.